Hello, everyone, and a very good morning to all of you. We are happy to have you online with us this Saturday morning with a mission to guide students transitioning from campus to career. The Edugraph, the education vertical of the Telegraph Online, has curated a series of webinars which will help aspirants like you to gain valuable insights on various career paths. Today's webinar will be throwing light on how to be a hospitality star, and this is being brought to you by the CII Institute of Hospitality. The CII Institute of Hospitality and SaveMax Global Education are offering an 18-month international diploma in hospitality in Kolkata and Chandigarh with an option to earn while you learn. And with that, we are honored to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Shobhan. Mr. Kumar Shobhan is the General Manager of Hyatt Regency Kolkata since 2019. He successfully took over the project of refurbishment and renovation of the property, along with the introduction of innovative concepts in food and beverage, social events, and enhancing the overall experience of guests and colleagues in areas like rooms and the spa. Being an analytical thinker, Mr. Shobhan knows how to lead and inspire his team. With hospitality experience spanning more than 22 years in hotel operations, he brings the expertise, skill set, and drive to maintain the standard of excellence which has been established at the property over so many years. He is a true believer of we care for people so they can be their best, which is the purpose of the Hyatt.
Thank you, ABP Digital and Edugraph, to bring me over and give my two bits to the aspiring hotel management students or hospitality management students. I come from a background which is very humble and was very, in terms of being known for the hospitality. I come from Lucknow, the land where the kebabs and hospitality was the main focus while we were growing up. So I think the journey started from there. And Shweta, we can move on to the presentation and let me take them through what hospitality is all about. And then we. So in general, I just wanted to let everyone know on this call or in this webinar is that hospitality as a word is a very, very simple terms for Indians specifically. And if you see on the last line on the presentation, it says Atiti Deva Bhava. Now that's also the mantra for our Indian tourism department. The hospitality starts from home. You know, when you were kids or when you're still kids, when your relatives used to come, your mother and father used to tell that, you know, please ensure that they are taken care of, right? You used to ensure that you pick up their luggage, take them in the room, make sure that the bed is properly made, the washrooms are clean, their food is made on time, that is served hot. And while they are there, evenings, they used to watch TV with you, or play games. And next day when they used to go home, you were opening the door and bidding them farewell. So that's in general hospitality is all about. Now, what do we need in a particular individual to become a hospitality professional? I don't think so. You need too many things as an what you need is basically the positive attitude. You need to have passion towards taking care of anyone who walks into the door. Anyone. You can't generalize them by their gender, by their clothing, by their age. Anyone who walks into your place, you have to treat them as they are God. That's what it mentions, Atiti Deva Bhava. Friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guest, visitor, or strangers. It very clearly mentioned strangers. So what we do in current scenario is that when we have anyone walking in, not everyone walks into your hotel who are known to you. I think 90% of the people who walk into the place are strangers to you. How do you make sure that while they leave the hotel, they become your friend so that you get repeat business? So in general term, Atiti Deva Bhava, anybody who walks into your place as a stranger should leave being a friend in there. We can move to the next slide. Now, what are the essence of hospitality? A lot of people think that, okay, hotels looks very glamorous from outside, what do I need to be there? You just need to be yourself in today's time. This we are talking about millennials, we're talking about Gen Z, who have a different style of operations or style of thinking. So, the essence is basically welcome, cordial, polite, be very receptive, listen to the issues what the guest has, or listen to the demand what they have, and then act accordingly. Courtesy, of course, it is one of the major focus areas for all of us. If you're courteous, it shows in your attitude, it shows in your body language. You cannot fold hands and stand in front of the guest. That is considered to be very defensive. At the same time, attentiveness is very, very important. Attentiveness in terms of eye for detail. um, I mean, it comes through experience. If you ask me, when I stand in the lobby right now, I can easily identify that, okay, this guest, looking at the eyes or looking at the way the person walks, I can easily identify that, okay, this gentleman or the lady needs something, needs some kind of help. So that's where you have to be very attentive while you are standing in the guest area. Be considerate to whatever the guest needs are. We call it empathy. As soon as you start empathizing with the people, your life becomes very, very easy. Geniality, very important. Empathy, as I mentioned, kindness. I think everyone has been born, Indians are born with that kind nature in them. You just, as I said, you just have to be yourself. What you learned at home is what you do in the hotels. Elegance. Now, as I mentioned, the hotel looks very, very, what I would say is that very posh, and you feel that, you have to be very smart. You have to be 6 foot tall. You need to wear expensive suits. No, it is not. Elegance is all about your inner beauty, inner confidence. The confidence has to come in, and that brings in the elegance in the entire scenario. Refinement, whatever you do, it comes, you get ready to handle any kind of a situation. Now, uh, we've been through, and I will cover it up in next few pages, is that what did we do during the pandemic and everything else. But it comes through experience. We deal with human beings, we do not deal with machineries. So every day is a new day for us. Every day we find new challenges. Every day we have a happy guest who walks out. Every day we have a unhappy guest as well, because we cannot have everyone be happy. Everyone has their different style of perceiving a particular scenario. Thoughtfulness and friendliness are two major aspects in there. And it is very important that you be friendly. Now, don't be too friendly with the guests, because there is a very thin line from being from changing, crossing that line from being a professional to being a personal, passing on a personal comment. So that balance has to be managed. We can go to the next slide. All right. So hospitality management is big. It is not only talking about a particular food and beverage, but it goes into, or it, I would say, it is not only about the hotels. It expands into a multiple avenues. We talk about travel, we talk about tourism, we talk about entertainment industry, we talk about MICE industry, we talk about being a great revenue guy. We talk about airlines. So, hotel hospitality management makes you master of all, I would put it this way. It gives you a lot of confidence in handling any kind of a situation. Once there was a gentleman, my senior, who told me that, hospitality is the easiest thing, because this is what you have learned at home, right? And once you're a hospitality management student and when you have graduated from there, you can be part of any kind of industry. So if you see, when you travel out, there is a hospitality in there. You go and stay in a villa or a resort up on the hills. There is hospitality. It might not be a hotel, but there are homestays. It is not a hotel, but the people there are giving you that kind of a hospitality. Um, the responsibility includes from the main gate, where the security guard is standing, to the porch where the person opens the door of your car, to the person who opens the door of the hotel, the glass door. You come inside the hotel, there's a reception, then you walk up to the elevator. There is a person who has been assigned to ensure that you are you're taken up to your room. There's housekeeping services, which make sure that the room is clean. Then there are recreational services like spa, tennis, gym, where you are entertained in terms of taking care of your well-being. Then, of course, the biggest chunk is the food and beverage, which I'm sure each one of you would have experienced in your tenure. You go to cafes, you go to these uh, small banqueting function for your family. There is a lot of things which we can do in from there. As it said, customer service is the core of hospitality professional career. We are taught how to ensure that our customers are happy. We say that the guest walks in, they should be very happy. When they walk out, they should be extremely happy. Now, everyone makes four walls, there is buildings, but it is about the people who makes a difference. And this is what we will cover in future slides as well. You can go to the next slide. So what does one learn? One, in general terms, one learn to be a smart, confident, passionate individual after doing the hotel management. We work on verbal and non-verbal communication a lot, and there is something which is very common when you see your international travelers coming in and they have a different language altogether. Like you all would learn Hindi, English, Malayali, Telugu. You come to a place where they don't know that language. Now, how do we communicate with them? Like a lot of Japanese guests who come to us, their English is not that great. So we deal with them with sign language, and this is exactly what we are also taught while you work in the hotel in a particular area where you do not have guests coming from from the areas where the same language is. Cultural awareness. Now, as hospitality professional, once you join a hotel, you will be transferred out or you get a job, maybe not in your own city, but you are given a job somewhere in, say, down south, and you don't know Tamil. And as I also have worked in hotels in Chennai, Dubai, the first thing I do is I come aware of the culture which is there, and then I change my style of operations depending upon what that city would do. Of course, you understand how to write letters, business letters. You understand how to write apology letters. How you understand how to write um, big articles in terms of the food, in terms of the beverage. If you are interested in becoming a chef, there is a lot of new things which are coming up, and that's the next point: culinary technique and applications. Now, if you see what we used to see as a if I mean, the restaurants which are coming up now are very different than what it used to be. People are not interested in going in multi-cuisine restaurant, but they are going to specific cuisine restaurant. There is a Korean restaurant, then there is a grill restaurant, there is a bar which is only focusing on cocktails. There are restaurant which is only focusing on meat products which are aged 20 years and above. So there are a lot of culinary techniques which you learn. What you learn at the hotel school is the basics. Now it is like It is like you learn music, and I'm sure some of you would learn music. It starts with Sare Gamapa. That's the base of all the pop songs or all the rock songs, rap songs. That's the base. So hotel school teaches you the base, and then you keep on learning, you keep on adding new things in there. So if you see nutrition and dietetics, this is also now with the new FSSAI law, we are supposed to write the calorific values of each dish on the menu. Now, this is why is this important? Because we are all moving from being unhealthy, sedentary lifestyle to more of well-being. And after COVID has gone, people realize that well-being is the most important key. What you eat, what you drink, what time you eat, what time you drink, what time you sleep. These are some important factors which one has to consider. We go to the next slide. Again, continuation, F&B service techniques. So from a pre-plated sit-down dinner to buffets to now flying buffets to live stations to how do we serve a bottle of water to how do we serve a bottle of champagne. Uh, what is there? Why is there a small depression in the bottle of champagne, or why is the shape of the bottle of a wine like that? So you will see a lot of things in there in terms of the service techniques, or I would say you will have the plethora of knowledge, and you can go and tell your friends who are not doing hotel management that you know why this bottle is like this, or why is there the shape of a fish knife is like that, or a butter knife is like that. Where in if you're not a hotel management student right now, and if you're aspiring, you will go back after first year of your college, and then you'll go back and tell your mother or father that butter can be taken out only from a butter knife but not a regular knife. So that kind of a knowledge you will get. Wine and spirit appreciation and pairing, you'll be surprised to know that every drink has a specific flavor. Now, it is not about alcohol in that, it is about the different kinds of notes which come in. So you might be drinking a bottle of wine, and you will taste chocolate into it, you will taste orange into it, you will taste bitters into it. Now, how do we pair it with the food? Now, we say that the food and wine pairing is one of the most difficult part. Yes, it is difficult, but it is very, very interesting. You become expert into it. A lot of friends of mine who have worked on this matter, they did their hotel management and they went into the wine industry completely. Now you talk to them, they will say that, oh, this wine has come from this place, this wine has come from that place. This is, you will be allowed to travel. You have an opportunity to travel across the world to see what wines are available, what beverages are there. Kitchen department, operation and administration principles. These are some of the topics which you do. Gastronomic trends and innovation. So if you have heard, if you're interested in food, and I'm sure you would have all seen Master Chef episodes. The Master Chef episode is all about innovation. And I think that's the base of a lot of aspiring students to join hospitality management, because they want to become chefs. Menu engineering and cost control, you will also be taught about the finances. How you can make the food, but how do we have the right items on the menu to be served? You just cannot put anything and everything, but they don't sell. It is all about putting the right thing. Your menu can have only 10 items, but those 10 items have to sell. Otherwise, the food is lying waste and your costs are going high. So you learn how to do cost control as well. Go to the next slide. So apart from these, you also learn room sales and marketing. Now, when we did hotel management, the focus was only on food and beverage, housekeeping, culinary, and front office. But now, when we go and take interviews now for the freshers, the young students, they want to join our sales and marketing team. They want to join finance team. They want to join revenues. They want to join purchase department. It gives you so much of opportunities to learn and grow. in whatever field you want to do. There are people who do hotel management and then they open their own company of events because they love handling larger events, organizing larger events. You can also do hotel management and learn the hygiene practices which we follow at the hotel school. And then if you choose to come to hotel and become the hygiene manager, you will have to go to a different course and you will have a lab of your own in the hotel and where you can practice or test any food or beverage which is made. Go to the next slide. Okay, so what will you become? I mean, these are all entry levels, what is shown here. Culinary, it starts with COMI level. Now, COMI, these are all associate level is what we talk about. That's your entry level. But there are certain hotels which go and does campus interviews in the third year. They have things wherein they can become a corporate leadership program. They can be selected for that. There are like Taj does management training program and HOMT program. Oberoi does OCLD. Hyatt does the corporate leadership program. So every hotel has a lot of these programs where after college, you get into that program. Within 1.5 years, you become an assistant manager. Now that happens one in 5,000, 6,000 people. One person gets selected. But as an associate level, and to be very honest, I started as a waiter many years back. If I may just put that story across to everyone, is that when I started my journey with Hyatt Regency Delhi as a waiter in the restaurant, this was in year 2000. I was given a La Piazza restaurant, which is one of the best Italian restaurant in India. And so everyone told me that, you don't know Italian and you can't learn Italian because you are a grown-up kid, you're not of that age. But I chose to become a waiter because I wanted to learn new cuisine. And I started growing up from there. From there, I moved into banquets. I was a team leader in banquets. Moved into the restaurant after that, grew up to a restaurant manager, then assistant director, food and beverage, then moved on to becoming a director of food and beverage. In between, I worked in Dubai as well, Park Hyatt Dubai, which was wonderful experience. Came back to India, worked in Hyatt Regency Delhi, then moved to Hyatt Regency Chennai. From there, I moved to Park Hyatt in Chennai. Then from there, I came to Calcutta, opened a hotel in Lucknow, then came back to Calcutta. So, there are so many opportunities for you to travel, and this is what I love. I spent 3 years, 3.5 years in one city, and then I'll go and learn different things in different cities. So, for me, for my growth as well, it is very important. And at the same time, we learn different cultures, different cuisines, and different lifestyles as well. So in culinary, you can start as a commie, you grow up from there. Now, when we take interviews, we see what is your interest as a commie. Do you want to join Indian kitchen? Do you want to join Western kitchen? Do you want to join Asian kitchen? Or do you want to join something wherein you are more interested in the guard manger, which is basically the butchery section, or the vegetable section where we prepare meat or vegetables before it goes to the main kitchen for cooking. Food and beverage, you can join as a hostess or you can join as an associate, and then depends upon which restaurant you get, what are the duty timings. You get a lot of opportunities to meet the guests, understand what their culture is. Housekeeping, you can join in linen room attendant. We take people in guest rooms and also laundry and public area as well. Front office, you definitely start as an associate in a particular area section. So from there, if you love knowing about the city, you can also join as an associate in concierge. Concierge is a department which handles all the travel or tours in the city, within the city. That person is knowledgeable about what is happening across in the city. Then there are postgraduate courses as well. So once you do hotel management, you are an F&B individual, but you want to make your career in human resources. So there is a small course which happens, and you can actually go and work, study something, and join human resources. There are sales and marketing, marketing and communication, PR. You can join all these areas in there. Go to the next slide. What are the opportunities beyond hotels? Okay, so there are marketing and sales. Of course, as I said, there are public relations, the human resources, customer service, tourism, BFSI, and entrepreneurship. A lot of people will leave the job, leave the after finishing the hotel school, they will join to gain some experience, and then they might want to open their own restaurant. Perfectly fine. As I said, you become street smart. You can do anything after you do hotel management. Go to the next slide. Now, what are the key skills which are required? You need to be a good listener for sure. Uh, you need to know how to handle a conflict. You cannot be shouting at the same pitch, or you cannot be shouting at all when the guest is upset and he or she is angry and their volume is going high. You cannot raise your volume in front of the guest. You'll have to be a good listener. Language skills are very important. How do you communicate is also very important. It is not necessary to know English. Trust me, in today's time, it is not necessary to know English. Yes, it is. It is a good thing to know, at least to handle the foreign customers. But at the same time, you can speak in your own language. If you travel across the world, you go to France, you go to China, they don't know how to speak English. You will have to understand their language, or they will write it or put it on a Google Translate and give it to you. So that's the way it is. Using feedback in a constructive way and working towards it. That's what it is. There has to be a proper closure of any feedback which comes in. Customer focus, we spoke at length on this. Cultural awareness, we spoke. Uh, Personality type. Now, you have to be a people's person. You cannot say that, okay, I'm a loner. I don't like to meet people, but I still want to join hotel management. I think you need to look for some other job, because here you'll be surrounded by a lot of people. And we expect every hospitality individual to talk to each other or talk to the guest. Being empathetic. Empathy means putting yourself in somebody else's shoe. So today, if a guest walks in and he says that, uh, the um, the AC is not working, right? Maybe as per you, the AC temperature is perfectly fine, but as per the guest, it is not. You will not start fighting with the guest. You will definitely encourage the guest to tell us more. What is he finding it too warm? Has he come from outside? Does he require some water to drink? Some cold beverage like an iced tea, so that from the heat from outside, he walks into the hotel, he calms down, and then you talk to him. Be patient for sure. The one thing which this hotel, which this education gives you is to be patient. Ability to multitask. When if you're an F&B server, and if you sit in the restaurant, you will see that you will have to, and your restaurant is full. One table is asking for bread, the other table is asking for water, the third table is asking for menu. You will have to multitask. You cannot be assigned to one place. Now, this is very common at home as well, right? When you are sitting at home, your mother tells you to give her a glass of water, but at the same time, you're also playing a video game, and your dad tells you to see who is on the door. So you are doing multitasking, and it's part of your life. Integrity. This is extremely important, because you will be accessing guest rooms. You will be accessing a lot of things which guest leaves in the room before they go for breakfast. We as hotel, we keep a close watch on this. We check each and every individual who walks into the hotel as an employee and walks out of the hotel, because integrity is very, very, very crucial for us. Flexibility, last thing in here. Flexibility is important. You cannot be rigid. You cannot be stubborn and say that, no, this is it. You need to find ways to have a solution to a problem. So you need to be very flexible in your approach. We go to the next slide. Now, these are certain courses which you can choose from, and these are available online as well. There are undergraduate courses, or I would put it this way, that there are, in our days, it was only diploma in hospitality management. We had to do a separate bachelor's course. But now most of the hotel management institute give you a bachelor's course. If you are only interested in culinary, you can do only culinary arts. There are institutes in India which only focuses on culinary. There are institutes in India which only focuses on travel and tourism and not hospitality. So you can work with anything. Now, if you want to learn more, if you want to really learn more because you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to have that management skills in there. Of course, you can choose to become an MBA, or you want to become, you want to do an MSc in hospitality management or hospitality administration, where after doing this postgraduate course, you want to become a manager. But my opinion, and this is completely coming from my experience, is that our industry is all about, it's a labor intensive industry, and it is an industry which lives on experiences. The more experiences you have, the better it is, and you will become a better individual and a better leader moving forward in life. Go to the next slide. As I mentioned, these are some diploma courses which happens for, there are certain courses which is for 3 years, there are certain courses which is for 2 years. So you can choose your liking. But in general, overall hospitality management will give you much more opportunities or much more options to choose from when you finish your college. So if you see, there is a diploma in bakery and confectionery, and there are colleges down south and in Delhi which only focuses on bakery and confectionery. And I have seen people becoming a good baker and a confectioner, and they opened their own places in the poshest locality. So these are certain things in there. Eligibility criteria is, you need to be +2, and you can have a course after that. Diploma courses ranges from 6 months to 18 months. There is government colleges as well, which you can choose from. But there are multiple colleges. It depends upon which location you want to do these trainings. Please look for a college which has a good reputation, which has a good lineup of teachers, because this is all about making you a better professional. This is a professional course. This will make you a professional. This is not a typical graduation like a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Commerce. This is getting you ready from day one you join the hotel school. Yeah. So that's the presentation all about. So I just a little brief about myself. I'm sorry I didn't pick up that. I did my hotel management from IHM in Goa. Beautiful place. And when I got Goa as a college, I said, wow, I'll have a party time. But when I reached there, there was party time, but there was a lot of things which we learned. Our teachers were excellent. And whatever we are now in today's time is because of the base, which was very strong. During our days, we had very few colleges in the country, but now there are many. CI is one of them. I think you should look at the opportunities in there as well if you're aspiring to become a hospitality individual. Shweta, I'm done with the
Yes.
presentation. If there are any questions which are lined up, I can answer them.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Shobhan, for sharing your valuable insights with us today. And I'm sure our audience is going to go back with a detailed perspective on hospitality as a career. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for taking time out from your busy schedule. And what we had done, Mr. Shobhan, is that while we were registering students for attending this session, we have taken questions from them in advance, and
Mhm.
we've collated a lot of questions were similar. Hence, we've collated questions which we think will help the entire audience. And I'm just going to ask you these questions one by one.
Sure.
So the first question that is coming in is, can you throw some light on the future in hospitality management post-pandemic? So there are quite many questions about stability of hospitality and hotel management as a career.
So this, whosoever has asked this question, it's very, very valid in today's time. And what has happened is that our industry was the worst hit industry in the entire world. Uh, we we like our lobby to be full with guests, and suddenly one day you see that there is hardly anyone. And me and my son were playing football in the lobby. There was no guest. So we were very confident that we will bounce back, and we had bounced back. You, the people of the world will travel. The people of the world will go out to eat food. They still want to go and enjoy in a party. They will still take care of their well-being. They still want to stay in a hotel. So the future is very bright. And let me tell you, in last 6 months, the business has bounced back to the 2019 numbers. We have some areas we have crossed what we used to do as revenues. In 2019, we have crossed that limit as well. So there is a huge, huge scope. So don't even have a doubt that what will happen to the hospitality industry. It will boom. That's why government has also put in a lot of impetus into this industry, tourism industry. A lot of focus is going on into this.
Right. Thank you, sir. And now the next question is, maybe you've covered this, but I'm going to ask you again. The five things that we should always keep in mind to become a good hotelier. The five
Okay.
most important things.
For me, it is one, you need to be passionate. Very simple. When you start your career, it's not going to be easy. Let me be very honest with you. It's not going to be easy like any other professional job. You will have to put in extra hours. You will have to stand on your foot. But then the day you start enjoying that, and this will come only if you're a passionate individual, right? You will grow up in your life. Like today, I'm sitting here. I was waiter in 23 years back. I was a waiter. Now I'm sitting here and talking to every one of you. It gives me an amazing feeling, right? So passion is the most important thing. Second is very, very important is integrity. You need to have you need to be honest. You need to, because you will have so much of things in front of you. You will have the most expensive cars, the most expensive watches lying in front of you. You need to be very, very honest on those front. Third is that you need to be innovative and you need to be creative in there. The way hospitality is moving ahead in future is all about innovative, and it's all about being creative. You cannot be just doing a mundane job. You come in the morning, take care of the guest and go. You need to read a lot. You need to understand things. So there are three things which I would say that these are very, very important. Personality, technical knowledge, these things we are here to develop you on that. But these, being passionate, integrity, and innovation, these things have to come from within.
That's great, sir. And we were talking earlier today about verbal and non-verbal communication. And on the very same lines, we have a question from one of our audiences, which is what if there's a language barrier between you and your guest? Because it's not always possible to know every language or have a translator on standby. How can we deal with those situations as customer relationship is a very crucial part of hospitality?
All right. So we used to have this problem at early stages of my career, because that time there was no Google Translate as such, right? Now everyone carries a Google Translator. Recently, I was in Thailand and I had a Google Translate downloaded, and whatever I was wanting, I would get it. But at the same time, um, English is a very common language across the world. Now, if you are still not able to understand, or the guest is not able to communicate with you, use sign language. And this experience happened with me. I was working at a hotel in New Delhi. I was a restaurant manager that time, and I had a Japanese guest who came, French guest who came in. No English, nothing. He only knew French, and he wanted honey, and he was saying something we could not understand. We asked some more people, he could not. You know what he did? He made a sound of a bee. Bzzz, and we understood. So it's a very, very, um, it's a common thing. You will come to know about it. There's hardly any communication barrier in today's time. You have to be clear in your what you want to communicate has to be very clear.
That's right, sir. The next question is, which sector of hotel management is more in demand? I mean, out of probably what the person is trying to ask is out of F&B, and the different teams, whether it's banqueting, whether it's sales. Is there any particular sector which is more in demand?
I don't, if you ask me, I can't put numbers in there or categorize them or as A, B, C, D. Every sector is in demand at the moment. And to be honest, 2 years down the line, we will have very less people to fill up those positions because a lot of people are looking at hospitality management to grow, to become smarter and join some other industry. Um, but in today's time, F&B is something still is in demand. Culinary, of course, is in demand. Front office is mostly about the process, about working on the computer and understanding how to work with the guests who are walking in. But at the same time, nothing particular is in demand as I mean, nothing particular is not in demand as such. As I said, revenue is something which is coming up. A lot of these young kids wants to join revenue department. A lot of these young kids wants to join sales and marketing department. We recently did a campus interview in Guwahati, and we got very good three individuals who are joining different Hyatt hotels in India in sales and marketing. You know, so there is a lot of opportunity in multiple department or sectors, I would put it this way. And that depends upon what's your choice. Even if the demand of food and beverage is high, but you still want to work in culinary, please choose culinary. You need to be happy of what you are doing. Not that somebody should force you that, okay, no, you have to be in F&B service. Giving you an example, when I did my internship during my college time, before going for internship, I was very inclined on culinary, very inclined on culinary. While I was on my internship, I came back and I said, no, culinary is not my cup of tea. I realized then, and I came back and I said that I will become a F&B professional. So you will change, but by the third year, you will come to know which area you are happy with. Yeah.
That's great, sir. So, I mean, one must pursue what resonates with them as a person. That is
Correct.
the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So, the next question is basically actually a couple of students asked this question that they want to work in a cruise line.
Mm-hmm.
And how can they go about fulfilling this dream?
Just apply it online. I think there are agencies who take interviews for cruise liners. It's a great experience to work with. The only thing which happens in the cruise liner, you sign contracts with them I think on a 6 months or a 8 month basis. I'm not very much aware about the cruise line segment, but what cruise line does is that you become a professional into a particular segment. So if you are in culinary and if you're assigned to cut vegetables, you will become a master of cutting vegetables. You will not be assigned any other role while you are at the cruise liner. While you work at the hotel, you will be transferred from one section to another section and make sure that we make you a thorough professional. And I don't have anything against cruise liner. It's a great opportunity. You travel the world. The only thing which excites people and young kids like you to go to a cruise liner because you get an opportunity to travel the world. Otherwise, cruise line is hotel on the sea. That's what it is. But go ahead, apply for cruise liner. It's wonderful to see what the world offers.
It's a world of its own on a cruise
Yeah.
ship.
Absolutely. You will not realize when you're working inside the cruise liner, you will not realize that you're working on the sea. I mean, it feels like you're coming out of your bunk bed and then you're going. But then, and there are a lot of my friends who used to work in cruise liner. Now they've left the industry completely. They're working on their own.
That's right. The next question is, how can I be a successful chef?
Keep innovating, keep reading, follow some great chefs across the world. Every chef has a YouTube channel. Most of them, I would put it this way. I learn a lot of things. I also enjoy cooking myself. So on my day offs, like Saturday and Sunday, after this session, I will go. We will start preparing for something interesting for dinner. So just avoid using a lot of mayonnaise, and nothing against the YouTubers who are coming in, or the small joints which are coming out in the market. Any food will taste good with mayonnaise, right? How to make the food tasty without mayonnaise or butter is the key ingredient. When I hire chefs, I do trade test for them, and then I only pick up those people who focus on the main ingredient of that particular dish. What's the point of making, say, a grilled chicken or a pasta if you can't taste the pasta itself, but you're tasting either the butter or the cream, right? So it is very important for you to keep reading different journals, keep practicing. But let me be very honest again, when you work in your own home kitchen, please ensure that your mom doesn't enter till the time you clean up the kitchen. Otherwise, it will be a mess. And it is coming from my experience completely.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing that little tip at the end. That was I'm sure that will be useful to many of us.
Yeah.
The next question is something to do with negative feedback and bad reviews. So how can one successfully, or what is the best way of dealing with negative feedback or a bad review? Maybe it may be happening in person, or it may come in as an email or some
We do get a
correspondence.
lot. We do get a lot of them. We do not call it a bad review or a negative review. We call it a constructive feedback or a constructive review. It gives us an opportunity to go back and look into our processes. Now, there are people who are ingenuine, who just write like that. But then there is a different way of handling that particular situation. But whenever you get a negative feedback or a constructive feedback, please listen to that, analyze it before you even act on it, right? You need to talk to, first thing is that if you receive it on an email or on a social channel, pick up the phone, or write back onto that message or an email, that give us an opportunity to connect with them personally. The more you talk to them personally, the better it is. It gives you an opportunity to understand that guest. Maybe you had a buffet and the guest has come and had the buffet. Out of 100 people who ate the buffet on that particular day, maybe 5 of them didn't like the food, but rest 95 loved the food. So there might be some kind of a particular taste palette which they didn't like. So understanding that is important. Now you get a bad review or a bad feedback, what you need to do is you need to do a closure of it. If you have to do a service recovery for that to ensure that you win the guest back, that's the most important thing. Your key should be, the focus should be to win the guest back. Now, do I do it at the expense of penalizing my team? No, I don't do that. You need to understand you need to properly investigate it and understand that, okay, what we can do to not have this problem in future, right? If there is a training need, so involve your training manager into it. And that's the way I handle whenever I get a bad review. Luckily, we do not get so many in today's time, but we do get on and off for sure.
Right, sir. The next question is, does hospitality management or does an education in hospitality management come in handy if you're working in the corporate sector? The student further goes on to ask, for instance, if you're working in the PR department of a product-based company, then how can an education in hospitality management benefit?
So what you're trying to ask is that if you have done hospitality management before and then you want to join PR, then
That's right.
super. I mean, you can join the PR of a hotel. Uh, you can, if you are working in a PR agency, which is not part of the hotel. We hire PR agencies, those PR agencies who have worked with hotels or they understand a hotel. Now, suppose if I open a restaurant and I need to have a PR agency in there, if I have to have a PR agency, I will pick up a PR agency or a PR person who has worked with some other hotel before. They need to understand that. So it is easy. I mean, as I said, after doing hotel management, you can get into anything. In today's time, I call myself engineer as well. Though I don't have a degree, but I can manage how the air conditioning works or the chiller works or the heat pump works. But that only comes through experience.
Right, sir. There's another question here, which is, as the hospitality industry is growing by leaps and bounds, how can a potential candidate keep himself or herself ahead of his or her competitors? I think they're mostly referring to upskilling and keeping, tuned with the latest development and courses.
I'm happy that somebody asked this question, and I mentioned it during the presentation as well, that hotel is made out of four walls, right? Every hotel serves food. Every hotel serves the same chicken pasta or a penne pasta or a pizza or a tandoori chicken, or every hotel has the same bed with the same bed sheet. Every hotel has the same style of operation. What makes you different than the other competition is how unique you are. And when I say word unique, and I use this quite often in my company as well, that whatever you do, you should be able to have your competitor hotels or competition follow you on that. We have been lucky enough that we have done this. We have been unique into a lot of things. It comes in how much you read, how much you, what innovations or what creativity you bring in, how much you challenge yourself that, okay, I have done this task. Now I need to do better. You need to keep challenging yourself. So if I say that, okay, if you have made an amazing biryani today, right? Tomorrow, I need to make it better. I just cannot be happy with what I made yesterday and it was popular. It needs to be better and better, but better and better. So be unique in whatever you do. You might just do 2 promotions in a year, but that has to be unique.
That's great, sir. Again, this question, the next question, a couple of people had it. They want to start their own cafe or restaurant. And they say, after I complete my degree in hotel management, I want to start my own cafe. Do I need to pursue any specific courses in culinary techniques or cost management?
Opening a cafe is a great idea, and I think during the pandemic, it was the biggest competition for our chefs. That every home was a restaurant. They were delivering food, so everyone was becoming a chef. But then I used to order a lot from these home cooks. Opening a cafe is a cost, is a lot of cost in there. You need to be patient because day one, you will not get profit. Day 10, you might see that, okay, little bit of cost is getting managed. Day 20, you might see that, okay, I got 1 rupee as a profit. So you need to be patient when you want to open a cafe. Do not just pass out from the college and start thinking that, oh, I have to open a cafe. Let me get 3 friends and we open a cafe. It has to be sustainable. Just for the heck of opening up a cafe should not be your focus. Your focus should be that, okay, how do I be sustainable when I open a cafe? At least for next 5 years, 10 years, this cafe has to work. Now, what do you need to learn? You need to have an on-ground experience in a hotel or in a place where, suppose if you want to open a cafe, you need to work in a cafe of somebody else to understand how it works. Of course, knowing about cost management, what you buy, how much you buy, what is the yield coming out of a particular pineapple. Because in today's time, you bring in a pineapple from outside, and if you cut half of it because there is skin, you're losing revenue, right? You need to have enough and more knowledge about how to maximize your inventories, what you bring in. So further studies are important. Uh, Experience is important before you open the cafe. Unless you are loaded with a lot of money and you have a lot of people to handle that, then it's fine.
That's right. And so, on this note, there's another question, which is, can you please throw some light on the benefits of pursuing an MBA degree? Like, what probably they're trying to ask is it important to pursue a master's after completing your bachelor's in hospitality
No,
management?
it's not important, but getting extra knowledge is always good. What MBA does is that it makes you a good professional if you want to pursue in a particular field. So I'll be very honest. What I did was during I did my hotel management diploma. I did my degree while I was working many years back. But MBA, I did an online MBA course and I completed during this pandemic time. What did it give me? It gave me a broader perspective of understanding a particular style of business. You know, so if I want to make my career in international marketing, or I need to understand how do I market internationally, so I chose that course. I was not very much. I wanted to learn more on human resources, so I picked up that subject into my MBA course. So if you ask me, becoming a hotel management after doing the degree, if you want to do hotel MBA in hospitality management, please go ahead by all means. But will it make a difference into your career? At a later stage, of course, but not in the initial stages.
That's right. So when we had met earlier last week, you were mentioning that when you were studying, there were certain batchmates with you
Yeah,
who are not in the hotel management industry, but are now branched out into different industries
correct.
and are doing well for themselves. So can you also share any success story? Would you like to share any one success story with the
Oh, there
audience?
are many. I'll tell you, we were a batch of, I think, 70 or 56 or something like that. And out of which only, say, 6 or 7 of us are in the hotels. Rest, everyone have branched out into different, but they started in hotels for sure. So this friend of mine who started his career with McDonald's as a, I think he was a floor supervisor. He joined as a floor supervisor. I think he didn't find it in very interesting, or he didn't find it very motivating enough. But what it made him to, he realized that, hotel management school has made him really smart to handle any kind of a situation. And at the same time, he started learning technology. So he went into a call center. From call center, that time it was booming. He was getting extra money. From call center, he went into joining. I think he joined IBM, and from IBM he moved to something else. And now he's one of the VPs in Accenture. So you understand that all my friends are well established. One is the head of retail chain for India. You know, so everyone has branched out into something else, but we still go back to our roots, and we still talk about what did we learn. As I said, the only thing which we learn in during the hotel management is that you become street smart. You can handle any kind of a situation. Let me be very honest.
That's right, sir. We'll be taking the last question of today, and that will be what does a typical workday look like in the life of a service staff and a management staff of a hotel? I think they're just trying to get an idea of how the day looks like, for each of these categories.
The day is busy and exciting. Um, so the manager comes earlier than the associate staff. When you say management, I believe you're talking about. So I take example of a restaurant manager and a waiter, right, or an associate, right? So the manager comes before the associates to ensure that everything is perfect. Then the associate comes in. They do a briefing, and the briefing is very fun-loving briefing. They do a lot of quiz, some stretching exercises, which happens at around 6:30. So we start pretty early. 7 o'clock, we start handling the guest. Very exciting, and I always say that after each meal period, they go back to the lockers, freshen up, have their meal, and that's when they discuss about, oh, this table, this gentleman asked me for honey. We could not understand, so he acted on it, and this and that, and somebody will say that, okay, I created. The gentleman stayed, this guest stayed with us for say 10 days. We created a very fond farewell for them. So there are a lot of things which happens, and then they prepare for lunch. Again, lunch happens. Then post lunch service, they leave. That's a typical life of an associate versus a manager. Manager still stays back till say dinner service has not started before he gives the handover. So it is not that at associate level you work more and a manager level you work lesser. I start my day pretty early in the hotel, and I'm one of the last ones to go. So as you grow up in your career, a lot of responsibility comes in. Maybe I'm not doing a lot of physical work, but there's a lot of mental work which happens.
That's great, sir. Mr. Shobhan, it has been such a pleasure to have you here with us today. And we really thank you again for taking the time out and sharing such valuable insights with all of us here. I'm sure that all of us are going to go back with a lot of a better perspective on hospitality as a career
Thank
and
you
the
so much.
scope of hospitality. If there's a single thought that you would like to leave the audience with before we wrap the session up, if there's something, a thought that you would
Yeah,
like to
just
leave
one thing
everybody,
which I
please
want
share.
to, two things actually. I see a lot of questions popping up here, but I'm happy to answer. If you guys want to send it across to me, I can answer them.
Mhm.
Uh, Second, and the most important thing is that if you are not passionate and if you do not want to do hard work, I would not recommend hospitality to be your focus area, right? Because it is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of patience which you will have to have. It is a lot of energy goes into this. So if you're not passionate, if you just want to do hotel management because you're not getting anything as an engineering or a medical, do not do that because you will be wasting the money of your parents. Join hotel management only if you really want to be a good hotel hospitality professional.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Shobhan. And thank you very much to also our audience for being so patient and cooperative. And thank you for joining us today. And we all hope you that you have a lovely Saturday and a lovely weekend.
thank
Thank
you,
you so
Sweta.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.